Hello everyone. Hope you are fine. Students, till now we have been discussing different modes of reproduction which are used by different species. Let us now look at the reproduction of the species which are very important. Can you guess which are that species? That important species are humans. So now we will study reproduction in human beings. We all know that humans use a sexual mode of reproduction. You may think, how does this process work? In this session, we will study the process of reproduction in humans. But before we learn this process of reproduction, let us quickly recall what are the changes occur to human bodies. Students, I am sure that you have already learned the changes occur into human body during puberty. There are many observed criteria through which we can say that there are the changes occurred in human bodies. In the life of a human being, from a child to an adult, there are many stages of life during which they feel, and there are noticeable changes into human bodies. Can we recollect some of the changes? Let us do it. I'm sure that you have observed that your height has increased continuously from your early age till now. What else? You have acquired teeth, right? Even you lost teeth, which were the older, right? And what were they called? Milk teeth. We lose milk teeth and we get or we acquire the new teeth. Likewise, there are many more changes, and these changes can be grouped under the general process of growth, and in which the body becomes larger. As I said that you have already learned the changes which are occurred during puberty. What is that puberty? It is the stage in which the child becomes an adult. Or else, if we precisely define it, then puberty is the period during which adolescents reach to sexual maturity and becomes capable of reproduction. So, all these changes which occur that are grouped under the general process of growth. But in early teenage years, a whole new set of changes occurs that cannot be explained simply as body enlargement. What does this mean? When we see body enlargement, that is not the sign that the person has reached to puberty, right? That is not only the measure to define puberty. What else then? The appearance of the body changes, as well as the proportion changes, new features appears, and there will be new sensations. In short, in puberty, there will be physical changes as well as mental changes also. In the previous standards, you have already learned the changes occurred in human body during puberty. Let us once again revise it. Some of the changes are common in both boys and girls. So let us first talk about the changes into boys and girls during puberty and which are the common changes. First of all, we begin to notice thick hair growing in new parts of the body. For example, armpits and genital area between the thighs, which can also become darker in color. You can also observe thinner hair which appear on legs and arms as well as on the face. Also, the skin frequently becomes oily and you might begin to develop pimples. Not only these physical changes, you begin to be conscious and aware of both your own bodies and those of others in new ways, which means you have the changes in your emotions, your feelings. Also, you can face mood swings. So, these are the common changes in both boys and girls. On the other hand, there are some changes taking place which are different in boys and girls. So, now let us talk about the changes which are different in boys and girls. In girls, breast size begins to increase with darkening of the skin of the nipples at the tips of the breasts. Also, girls begin to menstruate at around this time during puberty. Let us now talk about the changes occur into boys. Boys begin to have a new thick hair growth on the face and their voice begin to crack. They will have difference in their voice. Also, there are other changes like the penis occasionally begins to become enlarged and erect, either in the daydreams or at night. Do you think that all these changes takes place quickly? No. All of these changes take place slowly over a period of months and years. They are not happened quickly. They take time. So they take place slowly over a period of months and years. They do not happen all at the same time in one person, nor do they happen at an exact age. Right? It is not like that the girls have the changes at particular one time, at particular exact age. No, it is not like that. In some people, the changes happen early and quickly, while in other people, they can happen slowly. So, there is no particular time or exact time for the changes to happen. Also, each change does not become complete quickly either. What does that mean? Let us take an example. In boys, thick hair on the face which appear as a few and will be scattered hair firstly, and slowly the growth become to uniform, which means firstly there will be scattered and thin hair only. Slowly it will gradually develop and becomes thick hair growth. Also, the changes show differences between people. Just as we have different patterns of hair growth, or we have different shapes of fingers, or differently shaped noses, or if we talk about the reproductive part, then all the people have different size and shapes of their reproductive part. All of these changes are the aspects of the sexual maturation of the body, which means through these changes we can say that the person has reached the sexual maturity. You may think, why does the body show sexual maturation at this age? In previous sessions, we have talked about the need for specialized cell types in multicellular bodies to carry out specialized functions. We have learned that to carry different functions, there will be different specialized cells which are needed to carry that type of functions. So, the creation of germ cells to participate in sexual reproduction is another specialized function. Okay, which is another specialized function to create germ cells. For what? For participating in reproduction. And we have seen that the plants develop special cell and tissue type to create them. Human beings also develop special tissues for this purpose. However, while the body of the individual organism is growing to its adult size, the resources of the body are mainly directed at achieving this growth. While that is happening, the maturation of the reproductive tissue is not likely to be a major priority. What does this mean? This means when the whole human body of individual is growing physically, at that time all the resources of the body are mainly focusing to develop and to grow, and their aim is to achieve growth, physical growth. So at that time the maturation of the tissue, of reproductive tissue, is not the priority. At that time, what is the priority? To achieve physical growth. So reproductive tissues are not at the priority. So what happens? The rate of the general body growth begins to slow down, reproductive tissues begin to mature. Okay, when this happens? When the whole body of an individual organism is growing to adult size, the main focus is to develop and to grow physically. At that time, the reproductive tissues are not at the priority. So, Once the rate of general body growth slows down, then what happens? These reproductive tissues begin to mature. And this period during adolescence is called puberty. We also know that we can define it simply that the time period during which adolescents reach sexual maturity and become capable of reproduction, that period is known as puberty. You will be thinking, why did we discuss all these changes which occur during puberty? What is the connection between these changes which we have talked and reproduction process? Is there any connection? Is there any link between the two? Yes, we must remember that the sexual mode of reproduction means the germ cells from two individuals have to join together. We know this, right? In sexual mode of reproduction, there is fusion of two germ cells from different individuals, and this can happen by the external release of germ cells from the bodies of individuals. When these germ cells are released from the external body of two individuals, then only there will be a reproduction process. And when can be the release of germ cells? Only when a person has acquired sexual maturity. That time only they can release the germ cells. So all these changes are necessary because after puberty only the male and female get the release of germ cells through the external bodies. And it can happen by two individuals joining their bodies together for internal transfer of germ cells for fusion, as it happens in many animals. If animals are to participate in this process of mating, their state of sexual maturity must be identifiable by other individuals. Many changes during puberty, such as new hair growth patterns, are signals that sexual maturation is taking place. As I have been saying you that all these changes which occur during puberty are necessary because that are the signs that a person has acquired sexual maturation, is capable of reproduction. On the other hand, the actual transfer of germ cells between two people needs special organs for the sexual act. There must be special organs which are made by specialized tissue and specialized cells, such as the penis. When it is capable of becoming erect, is capable of transferring the germ cell. In mammals such as humans, we know that the baby is carried in the mother's body for a long period of time and it will be breastfed later. The female reproductive organs and breast will need to mature to be accommodate these possibilities. So, to carry a baby inside mother's body, there is a need for sexual maturity of the female. So, all this, which are the changes during puberty, are needed for the sexual reproduction. So, this is all about the introduction of reproduction in human beings.